Hey YouTube, this is Squash1990, and today I have a Harry Potter TCG deck tech, and this is my mono green potions deck with Severus Snape as the main Witcher wizard that runs the deck. I decided to show off all of my Harry Potter decks that I have. This is a game I have mainly collected. I have played quite a bit, but since the game first came out, I have some really fond childhood memories. When I was a little kid, when this was coming out, my dad would take me to the bookstore, local bookstore here where I live, and he would buy me a couple packs here and there. And I remember the first foil that I opened was Professor Phyllis Flitwick, and I still have that same card too to this day, and all the stuff that I've collected over the years. And thankfully, before the weird stuff that happened a couple years ago, before this game really exploded, I had bought a ton of booster boxes and foiled out all of my decks as much that I could, as I could. So anyway, we'll start the deck with Professor Severus Snape. And something cool that this game did was these crazy 3D foils for the witches and wizards. Yu-Gi-Oh does it too with their ghost rares or whatever. But essentially, he provides a potions. So all of your lessons in play, you can cast any potions card as long as you have him. Doesn't matter what other type of lessons you have out. And he has a once per game effect to where you can shuffle 7 non-healing cards from your discard pile back into your deck. And this game functions where your life is your deck. All damage dealt is basically milling the cards off the top of your deck. And once your deck is empty, you lose. So he's pretty good. 7 cards, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in game it's actually more than it sounds. And as you can kind of guess, this deck is mainly item cards, a lot of potions cards, and this faction deals a lot with sacrificing its own lessons for these big, huge, crazy effects, or ways to ramp out additional lessons with all of the different cauldrons and stuff. So, go over the items. The main card in this deck is bulgeye potion. There is a certain combo that plays 2 other cards that will level up into this. This deck doesn't care about that. It can ramp up to 10 pretty quick. Within turn 4, you're probably playing this. And yeah, it does 13 damage to your opponent for the cost of an action. So you get 2 actions a turn, so on and so forth. So yeah, this card's huge. This card does a lot of damage. It's one of the heaviest hitting cards in the game outside of some other choice cards. But yeah, bulgeye potion is kind of where this deck lives and breathes. Another good damage dealing card in this deck is moonseed potion. This is a cool little promo one. You can see a little promo stamp right there. All of them are kind of like that. This is my pride and joy deck, by the way. This is my favorite deck, so this is definitely max rarityed out. At least I think it is with all the other witches and wizards I run. But yeah, when you play it, you do 3 damage to your opponent, and then you can use an action and discard it from play to do 6 more. So it's 1 card, deal 9. It's fits the whole theme of playing items that do a lot of damage. Now for the rest of the, well, I guess this. I'll go over these first. These unicorn horns are cool. They're healing. That's another thing that potions does is heal. Healing's really good in this game. So being able to heal, 2 plus another 6, 8 cards off of 1, plus Severus Snape's ability, plus another witch that we have in here. Yeah, pretty good. Next, I have 2 sets of 4. This I'll go over in a minute. This isn't really the best card, but I play it for personal reasons. But Self-Stirring Cauldron is probably one of the better potions cards and one of the better cards just in Harry Potter in general. 4 cost that provides 4 resources. And to play this card, you discard 2 of your potion lessons from play, and then you get a free action. So this card's literally a free action that replaces itself immediately. And there's, you're going down 2 lessons, but you're technically going up by 2 for the same cost. This card's nuts. This card is just value town all around. Any potions deck is going to be playing 4 of those. I don't even think there's any room for argument there. You run 4 of that. This one, however, this card's bad. This card is just straight up bad. I happen to have 4 foils, and I really like the artwork on it, so I'm going to run all 4 of them. There's a bunch of other common cards you can run instead of this, but dude, just look at the foils, man. This is so nostalgic. I have to run them. I have a full playset foil. I'm not going to not run them. I think I have another playset non-foil, too. I have so many of this card. Cost 9, produces 5. When you play it, you return 2 of your lessons to your hand so it doesn't destroy them, so you can later play them again. So that's like kind of the cool part, but it costs way too much for ramp. You want your ramp to be early game, because that's when it's going to really matter. Late game, not the biggest concern. It's not going to, benefit you all that much. The only location we play is Potions Dungeon, costs 3 to play, and whenever a lesson is discarded from play, return it to your hand. Yeah, this card's great, because we are blowing up our lessons like no one's business, so being able to bring it back to your hand and replay them, you'd be dumb not to play that. Next, we're going to go into all of these spells, and then we'll have lessons afterwards as well. This card, I don't really play it all that much, but when it happens, it's pretty cool. It's a potion class disaster. Yeah, it costs 12, but we can get there pretty easily. As long as our opponent's not blowing up our cauldrons, which you better be prepared for that, because it probably will happen, or returning them to your hand. It's really annoying. But yeah, your opponent chooses 5 of their cards and discards them, and they come from the hand or both. Yeah, this card just nukes 5 cards. That's pretty good. That is pretty good, especially if they don't have a hand and they've just dumped their whole hand in play. You're either blowing up all their lessons or you're blowing up their creatures, or some combination of the two. Next, this is another kill spell for this deck. I have 4 copies of Dragon's Blood. God, it looks so cool just having a bunch of foils of this stuff. Man, I'm kind of... I really like my Harry Potter collection, so these decks are kind of near and dear to me. But yeah, this costs 7. When you play, you discard 2 of your potions lessons from play. Nuke something, either your opponent or a creature, for 11. You're probably not going to be hitting a creature for 11 because 11 is a ton of damage. You probably want to dome your opponent with this, so having that out is pretty key. Ideally, you want all of your cauldrons in play, producing all of the resources for this, and then you're playing a resource here and there, like your lessons, to then fodder them out and then to bring them back with this. That's kind of how the deck cycles and functions. More of the burn stuff. We have Foul Brew with great Ron Spencer artwork. There's just so much good. There's so much good artwork in this game. Yeah, this card's great though. 5, 2 damage to your opponent or to a creature of your choice. This will probably hit creatures more often than not, especially some of the really fast, weak ones. And I felt it was important to play some spells in here that don't destroy your own spells when you play them, because it can clog you down pretty bad. So try to balance it out with stuff that destroys your own lessons and stuff that doesn't. That way you keep your tempo up and you're not wasting too much of your time playing lessons. Next, I play 4 Noxious Poison. 3 cost. Discard 1 of your lessons, so it's not as taxing. Plus, the artwork is very cool. Very grimy, dirty kind of art. Really like it. What is it? Tommy Zimmerman? Yeah, good artist. But when you destroy 1 of your lessons, you do 5 damage to an opponent or a creature. This is also here to deal with creatures, though 5 damage to your opponent is good. But this will nuke most creatures in the game. These are here to hit creatures. Everything else, you're just doming your opponent. Hopefully after like 3 turns of just playing a bunch of bombs, your opponent's dead. Kind of like the idea there too. So that's it for all the spells and items. Next, we have 3 witches and wizards, and then the rest of the deck, which is a good chunk of it, is lessons, because you're going to need a lot of lessons for this game. So I'll go over the first one. Definitely the most important one. Man, these 3D foils, dude, especially on the right light. God, look at that. It looks so cool. Wish more games did stuff like this, dude. Like old, Marvel collectible card games did this with a lot of stuff. I have some really cool 3D Spider-Man and Silver Surfer cards. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, Madame Pomfrey is amazing, though. She has a once per game ability, heal 12 non-healing cards. That's a lot. Paired with everything else, that's a lot, because we're probably going to be getting hit with creatures a lot throughout the game. It's the deck's biggest weakness, so having these to kind of counteract that is very important. Next, we have Draco Malfoy of Slytherin. There's a bunch of Draco Malfoys, so this is a unique one. You can't have multiples of the same Draco, whatever, so on and so forth. Once each turn, when you use an action to play an item, you get 1 more action. So all of your items, the first time you play them, they will replace themselves with another action, and that stacks with Self-Stirring Cauldron. Play that, you gain 2 actions to play some more lessons or whatever. Yeah, Draco's great and very much a key card in this deck. I would almost say he's more important than Madame Pomfrey, but that's just dealer's choice on that one. And then finally, we have little nearly headless Nick. Looks great. I love, again, I can't get over these foilings. But yeah, once per game, you may search your deck, and when you do, take up the 2 item cards from your deck, show them to your opponent, put them in your hand. Yeah, this guy gets our kill cons or the heal card if we need it, or our cauldrons. Yeah, this card's great. There is another character you could play that, what is it? The Weasley's dad. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now. But essentially, he chooses an item you have in play and domes your opponent equal to the cost. So stuff like Gold Cauldron has more added value. I actually don't own a foil of him. I thought I had every card in this game in play sets, including foils, and I don't own a foil of him. And I don't want to run a non-foil in here because the rest of the deck is foil, and it just kind of throws off the whole groove of the deck. It's not really needed. These, I would say, are more needed than him, and just my personal opinion. But, you know, if you have a foil one, there's no reason not to run it. And so, yeah, we run a crap ton of lessons, man. There's like, what, 22, 24, 24, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 lessons. That is a lot for this game. You could probably get away with like 18 to 20 lessons in some decks. I want a lot in here because these are doing more than just providing resources. They're providing you the actual ability to play a lot of the cards in here. So I run a lot of them for that very reason. So anyway, that is my mono green potions deck tech. It's a fun deck. I really like it. It's not as overly aggressive as some of the other decks in this game. Again, just like transfiguration creatures, you're playing creatures every turn, you're making them attack multiple times and stuff, and you're playing Dobby's Disappearance or Eternal, your opponent's crap to their hand, and it's really, really annoying. Or, you know, Phyllis Flitwick in creatures, though my Flitwick deck is mono charm, so, you know, be that what it is. But I'm playing a lot of like little burn spells in that deck. This one, you're kind of just ramping up, playing a card here or there until you get your potions out, and you're just doing like one big card a turn instead of building up this big board of all these little creatures or playing all these little burn spells. So the deck can play out a little slow, but when it gets going, like, there's nothing more satisfying than like cracking like this and this on your opponent, or like double bulgeye potion on your opponent, just doming them for 26 damage. Typically ends the game right then and there when it happens. So yeah, this deck's great. I don't think it's all that expensive outside of the non-foil versions. There's not a whole lot of Chamber of Secrets cards in here. I think a lot of this is like Diagon Alley stuff, which is that little cauldron symbol up there. Yeah, like, oh, this one's a Quidditch card. You don't need this, though. Not that Quidditch is expensive. Dungeons and Hogwarts is the second most expensive set, I think, and that's what that is. But yeah, most of this, for the most part, is like either base set or Diagon Alley, and Diagon Alley and base set are pretty cheap. So for the non-foil stuff, hopefully this game is this deck is somewhat affordable compared to everything else. So yeah, my other decks though get pretty damn expensive, especially the ones I play, Dobby's Help and Dobby's Disappearance, especially the foil ones I have. Good lord, I'm actually considering selling those because of how much money they are now. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, anyway, that is my deck, my first deck tech for the Harry Potter TCG. Look forward to more. I'll probably do one of these a week. I have like 5 decks, so yeah, we'll just kind of see where that goes. But thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.